If you've been to Vancouver or live here currently, then you're probably familiar with the Vancouver House, also known as that big curved building. But what does a multi-million-dollar apartment look like inside the building? What makes the whole thing so special, and why is it one of Vancouver's most controversial buildings? Let's find out. The Vancouver House is a mainly residential building, one of Vancouver's more high-end apartments in the downtown area. Sitting at 156 meters tall, this is the comparison to some other well-known buildings. It's 52 floors, and at the bottom there's a university campus, a grocery store, 2 restaurants, and some other stores. It's quite the statement, and you can see the building from most places anywhere near downtown. Here's the view from my apartment actually, and I live decently far away, as you can see. After seeing it being built every day for years, I, just like many people, started to wonder what it's like inside. Well, I decided to live out of it for a day to see what the experience is like and what it has to offer. Jeez. So my friends are letting me check out this place today, which is their 2-bed, 2-bath apartment almost on the 40th floor, like I said. So we're gonna go on a little self-guided tour. Before we go all the way in, the kitchen, obviously this building was built only like 2 years ago is when it was finished. So all the finishes and everything in the kitchen, the whole apartment is still new. It's pretty modern. Interesting bronze backsplash here, and definitely room for a full dining area. Moving into the main living area here, we've got big windows. It looks like 10-foot ceilings, and the balcony just behind it. You know what? I want to go out there right now. It's debatably the most impressive part of this apartment, and the reason why you would want to be 40 floors up. So out onto the balcony right now. It's the middle of the day, so the sun is directly in my face, but the view from up here is pretty wild. If you're scared of heights, maybe don't look at this part. I don't even want to hold my camera over there. This balcony actually spans the whole entire apartment, so it connects both the bedrooms, and it's 217 square feet, just the balcony. This apartment faces south, so over there is Olympic Village, Fairview, Mount Pleasant, Kitsilano back over there. Down there, that's Granville Island. And the point out there is Point Grey and UBC. That's where I live, over there. And behind me is the open ocean. English Bay, the Burrard Inlet back there. You can actually see all the freighters out there waiting to come into the city. Some people say they don't want to ever live in an apartment because it feels like it's kind of a box, but when you have a balcony that's honestly like pretty large like this, it kind of helps with that. Back inside, I want to check out the bedrooms really quick. Just to mention, this apartment is 737 square feet. Like I said, the balcony's over 200 square feet, so that's not a small balcony. So going into the first bedroom, pretty good size. I don't think this is a queen bed, but they do also have like a desk in here, a small bedside table on the other side, and literally the sun is hitting my face right now because it's going off the water there and then up into the apartment. Like, if you're actually close to the water, you get a lot more light than you would otherwise. And of course, this is a door, so they have balcony access too. This is a 2-bed, 2-bath, like I said. So the primary does have an ensuite. Let's check that out. And off the main living area is the main bathroom for like guests and that kind of thing. Through the living room into the primary bedroom here. This one's definitely larger. This is, I believe, a queen bed. They also have a desk behind me over there with like a lot of space, and the ensuite, of course. You know, if you've looked for an apartment to rent in Vancouver, that people rent out their storage rooms for like $700 a month, where the door doesn't even open unless you lift up the bed first and then open it or close it, you know? So it's nice to see a room that can actually fit like a big bed and other things in here and still feel spacious enough where you can move around. 2 bedrooms at 730 square feet. That's a good size for a 2-bedroom. This is the ensuite, the bathtub, the shower. So we know what the apartment is like, but that doesn't encapsulate the full lifestyle. I'll show you. Come with me. Let's talk amenities. And this is the driving range inside your apartment. As a golfer, I could and I would get used to this. Kind of dangerous actually, but it does take a $500 damage deposit, so you gotta be careful. Okay, let's do some golfing. The golf simulator was super cool. Apparently it doesn't actually get used that much, but you could play like the driving range, or you could play multiple courses like the Nicholas North golf course from Whistler or nearby areas. Don't mind my absolutely beautiful swings. Yes, I am a professional. I'm just kidding. Don't roast me in the comments. It's an okay swing. It's okay. We have the typical apartment building piano lounge, of course. What life are you living if you don't have a piano lounge, am I right? Then we took a look at the gym, which was in its own separate type of massive building with different studio spaces for organized classes, as well as the spacious gym itself. And this is the massive gym that nobody is using right now. So it's just us, but I would expect a building like this to have a gym, but they have this gym and then they also have a bunch of classes you can take inside the building. And this area we're in is for residents only, but other people can come and take classes in here or in the other rooms of the building. And this was a common area on the 8th floor that everyone had access to. I don't exactly know what you'd use it for. It doesn't seem like other people know either because no one was there, but it is there. And finally, after you've golfed for an hour, hung out on the patio, gone to the gym, you come to the pool. I don't need to do a voiceover to explain the pool, but I did want to make note of how good it looks. The slanted wood ceilings, the lighting along the edges, the city views, as well as the best view of the building itself. What's the real reason behind the interesting architecture, the curves, if you will? Any building or property owner, especially for a commercial development, wants to keep the best use of the land in mind. Some say it's because architecture is an art and the curve is why people talk about it. That's why we're making this video, isn't it? And although that's true, it's a bit deeper than that. The designer of the building had to get a little bit creative. In Vancouver, depending on the type of building or structure being built, different regulations keep them from being too close to each other. As you can see from this photo, if the building was rectangular to the ground, it would be getting really close to other structures and also the on-ramp of the Granville Bridge. The design is based on the triangular lot that the building actually sits on. This is an actual look at the lot itself between the bridges and the other buildings. Yeah, it's not easy to build on, that's what I'd say. They needed some interesting planning, good designs to make that curved building work. That, and it also looks cool. On the surface, it seems like a great building, but why is it controversial? To name a few, the height of the building and the shadow that it casts because of its height, the design itself, and also the 4-year construction. It was originally supposed to be 3 years, but took an extra year. People in the neighborhood, I'm sure, didn't love that. The shadow of a building that's 156 meters tall is not a small one. A lot of cities around the world have rules on how much shadow a building can cast, so if you've ever seen a building like this that looks like a staircase, it's usually because the builders want to make it as tall as possible, but they still have to follow the rules of how much shadow the building can cast. So when you see a staircase top building, now you can be like, hey, I know why. And secondly, the height of the building was very controversial when pitched because it's a tall building, it's gonna interfere with the Vancouver skyline. That might not sound like much to a lot of people, but folks who have lived here for a long time know that the Vancouver skyline is one of the things that the city is known for. You look from the south, you see downtown, you see the water, and you see the mountains in the background, but you can't see the mountains if there's a bunch of tall buildings. For many locals, this one tall building is like opening the gates to other tall buildings to come in and get in the way of the skyline. We now know all about the Vancouver House and what it would be like to live there, but what would it look like financially? The average 2-bedroom apartment in Vancouver currently rents for around $2,500 a month, so that is our reference point. In the Vancouver House, a 2-bed apartment would cost you between $4,000 to $5,000 depending on the layout, something around that. But what if you're a big baller and you wanted to buy that place? Well, the condos in the building do go from around $600,000 for a studio apartment to the $15 million penthouse apartment, but a 2-bed apartment like the one we toured today would probably go for around the $1.5 million range. And to afford that around here, you'd want to make around $300,000 a year household income. That's not professional financial advice. See a mortgage broker. I have to say that now because I'm a real estate agent, but that's like a ballpark. Whether you're one of the people that like the Vancouver House or not, it's here to stay. Yes, even if an earthquake comes, because apparently it's one of the safest buildings to be in the city if an earthquake does happen. It doesn't look like that from the outside, but I'm no architect. If you made it this far in the video, maybe you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel. I'm also a licensed real estate advisor here in Vancouver. If you're thinking about investing, my information is below. With that said, I'll see you next week.